Hi there. I want to do some work on my Journaling by Fives art journal. I am currently on step 4. I did the first 10 pages. I stenciled and glittered and stamped and used my fine liner on them. I have 10 more pages to go before I can say I'm finished with step 4. This is what I showed it in my introduction video. This is rosin paper. This is really used in the construction trades. And I wanted to know how it worked for an art journal. I'm fairly happy with it. It's certainly not acid-free, but I wanted the experience, and this seemed like a perfect opportunity to try it out. But I need to repair the spine before I go much further, because I don't want it to completely fall apart with me. You can see I've started here. I'm going to put an elastic band around it so that I can keep it closed. So I tied, this is just regular cording, string cording that I've bound the signatures in with, and I tied that cording onto the center part, and I'll put my duct tape on one side, and then I'll make a split in the duct tape. Put my duct tape here, put a split in there, let this fall through. That's what I'm going to do. And then bring it around this way, and then let that duct tape go on each side. You'll see as I do it. But before I do that, I kind of wanted to answer a couple questions I had out there. Specifically on the glitter, I am using, let me get it out here. I am using Martha Stewart's fine glitter. I'm using 2 colors, Onyx, which is the black, and I actually stopped using it and just started stamping, but I do have it on the first couple pages, and what they call smoky quartz. Smoky quartz, I really like it. It's kind of a cross between a really light gold and a quartz white pewter type color. But the question I had was, I'm also using Martha Stewart stucco paint. I don't have it out. I had 2 questions. Would the paint hold it? And the other question was, similar, does it stick? Do you find that it flies away? Now, when I did these pages, yes, glitter was flying. As I went like this, I have wax paper under here, and as I went like this, and I saved as much I could off on my little, this is not the jar, but I have a little jar, here it is, a little jelly jar, that they call this contaminated after you've used it and you've got, you know, little clumps in there. I did not put it back into my uncontaminated jar. When I just keep using this over and over and over again. But there are clumps in there, and I know it's contaminated. I know it's clumpy, but I know that I'm using it on this art journal, and I don't care that it's clumpy. I'll keep using it until I use it up. But I'm not going to mix it in with my other nicer uncontaminated glitter. If I need more glitter, I'll use it on here and then put it into the contaminated jar. But yes, it does fly around quite a bit while I'm using it, and I don't mind that. It's the nature of glitter. But I do find that baby wipes will clean it up pretty well. If you have glitter on your table and off over into here, the baby wipes pick it up pretty good. Which brings me to the other thing. I let my pages dry completely. I let the journal set for a couple days. Then I took a stiff, I brushed it off while I was glittering it. But after my journal dried for a couple days, I took a stiff brush. This is actually a stenciling brush, you know, a stippling brush where you go like that. And I brushed hard. I put it over a wastebasket, and I brushed really hard on this. Now, you're going to still see little stray things, but for the most part, glitter will come off, but for the most part, on here, you will see shiny glitter on these pages. Now, is this a beautiful professional glitter job? No. I mean, but it's not meant to be. This is meant to be an art journal page, and it's meant to represent a vintage journal, something that you might have seen done in the 1920s or the 1930s. So I have actually called it In with the Old, Life Changed in with the Old. And so it's kind of looking back onto the years when photographs were in black and white. So that was my one point that I wanted to make, that yes, glitter does fly off, but not all of it. There is a good amount that stays on there and stays really nice. And you can clean up your pages with a really stiff brush and still have a good amount of glitter left over. And I did actually take my baby wipe. I did actually take my baby wipe and go over these areas of my page. I have to be careful on these areas because they are not waterproof. I can wipe out some of this area. And speaking of these areas, I want to talk about the difference between the pages that I did. I think these were some of my first pages, and they were more detailed. And I'm really happy with the pages in the back. But then we got into a discussion on time and that type of thing. And I got into trying to work faster. And so my images are more what I call shape driven. You can see the little people in here, the little little folk. But I do not have faces on them. They are more shapes. And I think that I'm going to go back, and I did that because I wanted to work fast. I spent a fair amount of time on these. I concentrated more on getting a face, a portrait. Well, not on these, but I thought more about doing these pages than, and I think I'm going to go back in and put in some faces. I think I'm at the point to where my art journal is to say, well, you know, I pretty much have tossed out the 15-minute time limit, not because I don't respect it, but because I deviated from it, wanting to being inspired. I was actually inspired by it, not by the 15-minute time limit, but by the Journaling by Fives project brought me to this point. And I think I want to go in and work on these. I call them really, they're kind of unfinished. Well, this one I'm semi-happy with. This one needs a lot of work on it. I'm going to do some more work on these photos, but I want to finish with my stenciling first. So those are the things that I wanted to point out. Kind of chattered. That's what this video is about. It's kind of like a intermission chat. I was going to save a lot of my chat for the end of the process, which I still will do when I do a flip through. I'm sure there'll be other things that I want to point out. But I'm going to go into fast forward and you can watch me. I'm going to work on the cover of this. I'm going to repair this. I might put some lettering on here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. Hi there, I'm back, and I wanted you to see that I actually finished this cover offline because I needed to get my face up to the front of it to do the lettering. You just would have seen my head. I did spray it with this terracotta spray again, just to bring out some more of the dark color. I have my elastic band that goes around this way. I used a stencil that I have here to do the lettering. It says bring in the ode, journaling by fives. And I used bring in the ode after this phrase that I used off of the wording that I attached to this picture, life changed, bring in with the ode. And I put bring in the ode. And I put life changes. And then I put journaling by fives to acknowledge that, yes, I did do this inspired by the journaling by fives challenge. I used the Tim Holtz grunge board, punch out, and modeling paste and black gesso to do the clasps here. And then when I did my lettering on the cover, I also smeared some of that gold ink on the clasps. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm not saying that I won't do any more to it, but I needed to repair the side here, so I just went ahead and did the cover. So I need to, from this point on, I have 10 more pages that I want to put stenciling and some of my glitter on. And then I'm going to go into step 5, which will be pen and marker. And I want to touch up some of the areas on these unfinished pictures. I call them unfinished, the shape-driven ones, where I feel like I need a little bit more work, and then I'm going to work on the last 2 pages, and I may do some more to the cover. So thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next page.